Hi, this is Rolf Johnson. This week on Door County Girl, we're taking a tour on the grounds of Al Johnson's Swedish restaurant and the beer garden.
Hi, I'm Annika Johnson from Al Johnson's in Sister Bay. I hope you enjoy my new video series called Door County Girl. These are stories of my life, the people and places that I love, and of course how we all survive here in northern Wisconsin. You can come back as often as you like, but don't forget to subscribe to Al's YouTube channel. I'll be posting lots of really cool new videos. So let's go.
Hello everybody, welcome to an episode of Door County Girl. You're missing somebody here, and that's my sister. I'm hijacked today's episode where we're going to talk Al Johnson's Swedish restaurant and the grounds here and how we keep them up. It's much larger than you think it is, and we're going to start off right here in front of Al Johnson's talking about our planter. Now, the planter, years ago, if you've been coming here, this had been all trees. And a ways back, they widened the roads in Sister Bay, which made the sidewalks wider. So we took out all the tree and the park setting that we had here, and a local mason by the name of Mike Anderson, who comes from a long line of masons. In fact, Mike Anderson's great-grandfather built part of Sister Bay, if not all of it. If you see stonework, odds are good chance an Anderson is involved. So my mom insisted having a local craftsman do our planters here. That's what these are here. And we changed the decor of them as the season goes along. My mom is a big fan of the pink petunias, and we've got some geraniums in here. We've got some bubblegum petunias, and we got some, I forgot what these are called. I think they're called something with white, but I forgot what it was already. Frost. Dragon frost, that's what it is. And we've got a couple local people will plant these for me because my mom used to do it. Sometimes my sister does do it. By the way, if you're wondering where my sister is, she's out glamping. If you don't know what glamping is, it's glamorous camping. They're not roughing it. They're in the hills of Utah with one of her best friends in the whole world, KC. So anyhow, that's why I'm filling in. But as we go along here, Jack and Jill Landscaping used to always help us plant out, but she's gotten grown and so busy. That's Rachel Shomo, wonderful person. Jason Orsted from Creations by Jason will help me out here. But lately, I've had my local prep cook, or I should say in-house prep cook, Dale. And Dale's comes back from a wide background of things. He's a forestry expert. He worked as a jailer. He's a Wisconsin native. He's been transplanted to Texas, and now he's back here, and I'm so lucky to have him here. He comes and does this on his days off because he enjoys it so much and it's relaxing. So in the wintertime, you'll come here and you'll see cedar boughs, then we'll change it to pine boughs, and of course the snow covers it all up later on. But it's a great view when this gets all in bloom in here. And you've heard me talk before about our groundskeeper, Glenn City, for number one, because he is my oldest employee I have here, one of the longest employed people I have here. So you'll see him out here watering on occasion. So as we cross across the entrance to Al Johnson's, you get a shot of the roof up here with the archway we've been working on. As I see it now, it looks like I need a little trimming. If you're wondering why the cattle wire is right there, it's to keep the goats off the entrance that we just took off. So that'll come down shortly. We have a winter entrance here, and people used to say they know when summer's over when we put it up, and they know when spring is or summer has begun is when we take it down. So this is the other half. Oh, well, let me point to the ground. My mom loves this aggregate concrete to keep people from slipping. We don't have to use as much salt. And this is done by our friends Colosimo. Jude Colosimo's got a concrete company up here. He's second to nobody. He's fantastic, does a fantastic job. Fitzgerald works with him real well. That's his brother-in-law. He does a great job. If you need concrete work, call one of those two guys. Now we go by the gift shop over here, the windows of the gift shop. You can't see so well right now with the sun of the glare. But if you were here about 6-7 years ago, you remember the restaurant was very, very dark, and we had it sandblasted by a guy called Jim Minot and his son Levi, or grandson Levi, and they're master blasters out of Green Bay, and he did a fantastic job. When I had nobody to stain it after he got done sandblasting it, he came in and stained it as well. And let's finish up over here as this little walk as we're continuing on our way by the Al Johnson sign. Never mind the hydrant there, but that's by code. So this is a very iconic sign, been here a long time. Many people get their pictures taken here as much as they do with the goats in the background. So anyhow, if you get a chance, come here, plant yourself right here. You'll be one of hundreds of thousands of people who have done the same thing, so they must know something. The grass on the roof right now, it looks great. My maintenance guys have been cutting that, put a little fertilizer up there. We haven't had the official roofing of the goats yet, but they have been up there a few times to kind of get the jitters out of them. They're welcome back every year. It's the same goats on the usual round, but since they've been in the barn and around the pasture all year, they got to get their roof legs back on again. So come back for roofing of the goats first Saturday in June, and you'll see them with the weather permitting. But any nice day right now, we'll be putting them up for a few hours here and there. Now, as we walk across the parking lot here, we're closed obviously. You can see there's no cars here. And I can point out a couple weird things that are the inside of Door County. So over here, you'll see a very invasive hedge of bamboo that we keep in check. We didn't plant it, it came with the property. Next door, years ago, we call this the clinic lot because the local healthcare clinic was right here back in the days of Doc Farmer. And back around 74, I think it was about 75 or 76, they lifted the whole building up. Fitzgerald again, John Fitzgerald, lifted the building up and carried it up the hill, and it sat up there as a clinic for a short time. Then it turned into something else, a storage unit. Well, now they've torn it down and they're building a huge clinic up there, which is actually now open. But we knocked this thing down at the end of the season, and then it kind of goes into dormant stage. But again, you'll get an idea of how big this property is and how much stuff there is to do to take care of it. I'm going to say, if you would have came here, all these trees were bushes when I was a kid. They were just small global cedars, and they've grown and grown and grown. A few years back, we had a huge windstorm where some of them got ripped out, and but the rest prevailed quite well. Right over here, like I said, is the clinic parking lot. I'm going to kind of point out some other things that you might wonder about. There's a little shed over there. That's a pump, and that helps us keep the pond full if we have a drought of any type. This parking lot over here and that parking lot over there used to fill up right around in June, just for 1 hour of the day, around 5 o'clock. We used to bring midsummer dancers that would gather around the pond. It hasn't happened now for a while. I think that the art is kind of disappearing, which is unfortunate. They used to come out of Stoughton, Wisconsin. I believe they're still there, and if you get a chance, you should visit Stoughton. It's a neat little place set back in time. As we walk over here, we're getting to our newest property that we had purchased. It's called the Casperson property. So the Caspersons has a funeral home here, and it's still the Casperson Funeral Home to us. This is the house they lived in, and now we use it as a rental. And on the very front, we'll bring you around later, was the actual funeral home. And I was talking to the Caspersons. Before this house was built, they lived in the funeral home, and the funeral home was truly as that. They lived there, it was their home, and when they had a funeral, they'd take all the furniture out, put it in a back porch, and then they'd have the showing right in their living room. And then when the showing was over with, they brought all the furniture back in. Of course, the corpse would go to the graveyard for the burial. And Greg would tell me these stories, and I thought that was crazy, but I guess they had to do something. If you get a chance, especially now, when you see some of these blossoms in bloom, it's beautiful. And you sit here in the morning or in the evening, enjoy yourself a drink, or just take in all the of nature's wonders and beauties here. The pond is beautiful. You got red-winged blackbirds in here. In the morning, often we'll see cranes in here. The pond is actually kind of a marshy area, and how these ponds were built and why they were built has some history as well. Years ago, all through Sister Bay's existence, they used to have flooding on all the back roads in the springtime. So they had to divert the water somewhere. So Al Johnson and Clyde Casperson agreed to dig out their marsh areas. And then they channeled all the water to here. And then there was a culvert that would go to the lake. And that's why these are here. And that existed that way until sewer and water was put in. Once sewer and water was put in, the ponds weren't as necessary, but they still serve a purpose. We found that out especially a few years ago when Lake Michigan had high water marks, because they're kind of going in sync with the Lake Michigan water. But we think they're wonderful. Oh, look it up. If you check way back there right now, you'll see two cranes walking. They're kind of by those birch trees over there. I don't know if you can see that. But they're here quite frequently, and often ducks will come here. And by the way, you can always come back here and just walk the grounds too. And we have a nice little bridge over here. I'm telling you, unless you're here, you don't get it. My buddy Jason, who's also a nature photographer, he can sit out here for hours and he can find all kinds of things that I never see. You'll see turtles in the pond. Once in a while you'll see a muskrat cruising around. I think I've only seen one in here. In a little bit we'll put the aerating pumps in here, and then you won't see this water kind of, it looks a little brackish. I promise you it's not. Right now it's just more feeding the turtles and things like that. But once we get the aeration going again for this summer, it'll all clear up, and like I say, it's a lovely, lovely, lovely place to sit. And when we get all the way back here, over this little bridge, you'll see, oh, there's my red-winged blackbirds I talk about. They're all over the place. You'll see a lot of the mama ducks and baby ducks will hide in the reeds over here too. But when we get way, 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 way back here, this is the grounds back in here where the Telmark Boutique is, which is not really a boutique anymore. We refer to it as such. But this is where the Stabor was. So the bar you now have over there is now, or that was once over here, and it sat in this empty spot over here. So when we get a chance, we're going to go over there next. All right, so I got a little unconventional bridge here. I wouldn't recommend everybody come running back over here unless you felt very, very, very agile, or you don't mind getting wet should you fall down. This was the little village that we had built when we built the restaurant, with some with the leftover logs. Some were buildings were brought over from other areas. But right here is where the Stabor, the two-story building, log building that now sits over on the grounds that we call the Stabor, which is our beer garden. And we moved this one from over there to here. And you can't tell right now, but a couple of years ago I tried an experiment. We planted all this with clover, and I'm hoping it comes back again this year. You'll see water running off here because we watered it this morning. And we water till it's saturated, and then it rolls right off. These little cabins right now are just used for storage for the most part. At one time, this was Sister Bay's second men's store. Our baker, Johnny Ostrom, would run this place. And he did a fantastic job for many, many, many years. And he still works for us, and he bakes for us, and now he runs a resale shop up the street. But this is a great, great area to sit or just meditate or come here at night. I know a guy that comes down here at night because we have a street light over here, and two things show up: bats and owls. So he'll come down here and take pictures of that. I didn't know that till one day I was leaving here, and he said he was waiting for the owl to show up. I tell you a little story. When we were deciding whether or not to put the Stabor over at the beer garden grounds, before we even had the idea, my main manager, Freddie Bexel from Sweden, said, "Take a walk with me." And I walked out here with him, and he said, "Let's set two chairs right here." And he popped open two beers. And he said, "Now let's just sit and enjoy the quiet here and think about that Stabor if we could plant it right over there and make a separate business of the beer garden out of it and still do all the nice landscaping. And I said, you know, that's not a bad idea. That's how that kind of thing got rolling. And I know for years people have told my dad, you got to move those cabins and put them over there where people can see them. So a lot of you don't know this exists, just for the simple fact it's back here. But it's like a neat little park setting, and it's very quiet. It's very picturesque. Great place for a photograph. I know a lot of wedding parties come back here and get their photos taken. So if you get a chance, you're in Sister Bay, even if you're not stopping at Al's, show up, check it out. You'll love it back here, I promise you. So I hope you enjoyed our tour around the grounds of Al Johnson's, and you can get an idea what it takes to take care of this place here. And that is it for this episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and you'll be kept up on the latest news of the Door County Girl. Appreciate you.
Thanks for watching Door County Girl. Don't forget to subscribe, and we will see you next time.